them. Tell them the things that will empower them to do what they wanted to do in the first place. We all come from fucked up places all over the country. I did. Low-income projects from fucking Northern California. Worst murder, homicide rate in California. That's where I came from. I lived on welfare until I was 11 years old. I'm a captain. Go, big deal. I'm still a Marine. That's what you have to do. That's life. This right here is life. And I'll tell you a real life example. I was in Iraq in 2003, 4. This was 4. And I had a mentor of mine at the time named as Corporal Raphael Chacon. Badass, right? Looks kind of like that guy right there, that man, maybe a little bit like that. In between those two, here we go. Maybe not as big as that one, a little bit bigger than him, but probably the composition of spirit of that one. Does that make sense? This fucking fire breather. And he was running the green belt course. This is when I got my green belt. There you go. I'm Lance Corporal or Corporal at the time. I remember a little skinny 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid in the Marine Corps. Don't know what I'm doing, but we're doing this green belt course. And of course, this green belt. There you go. This is 2004. Give me a break. And I remember I was sitting on my kit, and I'm in rows with my squad, and we're in the fucking desert, and we're waiting, and there's this 305 tank over here. There's probably a shittier version of 305. I don't know what they had in the fucking tank, but it was a different tank. And we had a piece of mat, and we had music blaring, and dudes were getting fucking thrashed. And I say dudes, there was some women in there too, but they were getting fucking just thrashed. And I remember this Sergeant Forsyth, run out of the tent, right? Because he was walking, it's not made of the same material. He fucking runs out of the tent, he comes back, and he's basically fucking kid. I just want to learn the moves. He said moves. You go, Theo's 15. Fucking the moves. I just want to learn the skills. I don't need this shit. And he fucking picked up his shit and he left. He quit. I was going in there. I mean, if you else I did. That bitch kicked that Marine quit. He quit on himself. And he did it in front of all of us. Think about that for a second. What's the impact of that when you're in Iraq and you got a sergeant who quits? Think about that. Could you imagine? Now, I only say that because what you felt right there was a part of you that wanted to. There you go. And if it was just to quit the fucking in front of the rest, or it was like, I'm gonna do this full fucking amount of time or whatever it is. Just remember Sergeant Forsyth. There you go. It's not forever, Will. That guy lives in infamy in my fucking, he lives rent free in my head as an example of what a sergeant isn't. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, cool. No, sorry, those are just two things I get to you guys because they've been very important in my life and helped me through some very difficult times. Let me actually course and some cool ass courses and things that I've done. So let's talk martial culture study real quick, and I'll try to give it as justice, but be as brief as possible just because of what time it is. First question, is the Marine Corps martial culture study? Don't answer it, think about it for a second. Just think about it. Or martial culture. Is the Marine Corps martial culture? I want you to put idealistic values. I want you to think about it in the top of form, in the most purest form. While you think about it, I'm going to define those two terms: martial, or life, right? Culture, society that supports the war, you're a war fighter, or warlike behavior. Here we go. Warrior, martial culture. Is the Marine Corps martial culture? Okay. So you hold on to that thought. Probably talk about the Spartans. Anybody know anything about the Spartans? Don't tell me, just tell me if you know anything. You heard about them? Yeah, fuck yeah. You've seen some movies about them? Have you admired the abs that they had? Fuck, they have some good abs. It's fucking tight. I don't know if they actually have those abs, but we all imagine what idealistically warriors look like, right? Because of their image and their example. Spartans are my favorite martial culture study because they are so remembered and revered because of the example they set for everything and everybody to ever come around us, people, mainstream people, cult-like people, thinking about them, their abs, the thermopylae, everything about them. We're not going to talk about 300 with the Gates of Fire. I suggest you read it if you haven't. It's an inspiring book. It's worth your time. What we are going to talk about is some of the things they did, and we're going to parallel them with just the things we have to do. It's called action. The things we have to do. And the reason why I love them, love the Spartans, is because today, what year is it? 2023. How many years later, who are we still talking about? Spartans. Okay. So I'll take you back to Sergius. He was the brother of the king. And these guys have been just a normal, average society, just in the Greek city-states that are doing their thing. The king dies. There you go. King kicks it. They have a very interesting culture. And the wife of the king, the queen, she goes up to the brother, who's the next heir to the throne. She's pregnant. She's like, hey, check it out, man. When the baby comes, I'll kill it. You can heir, I'll marry you, and you can be king. Keep everybody together. No wars, no craziness. Is that cool? He's like, absolutely, let's do it. That sounds good. So comes the baby comes, and he's like, I'm not killing my nephew. Crazy. Here we go. He bounces. He takes like a road show across Europe, Asia, all of these random places, not Europe in the sense that we think about it today, but he goes on a road show and he starts studying a bunch of martial cultures and all these other places, and he starts thinking about his society, and he comes back, and the nephew comes of age, and he comes back to the society, and he says, hey, check it out, we're going to revamp the entire Constitution. We're going to take it down. Give me the Constitution. He goes to the Constitution shoulder, says, give it to me. Fucking goes away, says, no more, I'm not writing it down. If it's worth its weight, then you will agree to it. Does that make sense? We are not writing it down. It is what it is. And if we don't think it is what it is, guess what we're going to do? Change it. What does the best for us? He does a couple things, 3 things. First thing, he's like, gold and silver, no longer the currency. We're going to go to iron, strictly iron. What's iron? Bulky, like a raw iron. I'm not even talking about refined iron. Just big ass, bulky ass iron. What is it? Is it pretty? Negative. Is it useful? Maybe, to a degree, right? For making shit, like making stuff that's useful, right? That's fair. Yeah, absolutely. It is not pretty. It is not used for jewelry. It is not that thing. It changes the dynamic of their culture. What does it do for their culture? What does it start to devalue? What's it devalue? No more gold and silver. We're gonna trade in strictly in iron. What does it start? What does it devalue?
Flashy stuff.
Flashy stuff. Wealth. Shows wealth. We trade iron. Iron's useful. You can use it for tools. You can use it for nails. You can use it to build shit. You can use it for tools, for axes, for hammers. Right? You can use it. It's useful. And matter of fact, we're gonna trade to a little bit more of a barter system. If I got what you need, you got what I need. That's what we're gonna do stuff. The next thing he does, he redesigns the entire thing. All right, cool. We got these big landowners, little landowners. Everybody has an unequal portion. It's unequal. It's unrealistic. We're gonna split it up. If you're a citizen, you got an equal share, an equal responsibility to the community. Period. I don't give a shit. We're gonna redefine all the lines. We're gonna be like this, and they're gonna be as useful, and everybody is responsible back to the greater good, and not just to yourselves to accumulate wealth. Does that make sense? Third and final rule. He said, no more will you build your houses or your house and your dwellings, the things that you live in, with anything other than rudimentary tools. You use a hammer, you use an axe, and you use a saw. That's it. What does that do? Remember, think about Rome. Think about the things that they built, the stuff that were marble, stone, statues, dudes freaking thinking about shit, weekends and all kinds of shit, right? What does it change? You can't build your houses like that. Now what do you have to build? Time is the best essence. Energy is an investment of time. When you got anything advanced, what does it do to your thought process and your dwelling? What is your dwelling now? It's useful. Utility, like it's a utility, right? Vice, what? Show me wants, big stuff that you don't need. Matter of fact, now I also need you to help me put my house. Here we go. Because all I have is this hammer and shit. I don't have all the fancy tools. I need you to help me, and I'll help you. Here we go. Changes the dynamic. So then, what do we value, right? What do we value? What's the value system change from? Anything about wealth? Everything about what? Trust. Hard work. What you have contributed, and what over what? What over what? What is the most important thing? If we're all looking outward towards this communal area, this thing that we're contributing to, what is most important? What's the number one word that they can use to define themselves as citizens, as people, as humans, as contributors? What is it? United? Spartans. 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 It means everything. There's more Guzmans and Castros and the Castro Empire and Rothschild and all this other stuff. It's Spartans. That is the most important thing. You can't name more than one Spartan on your hand, can you? Can you name more than one? It doesn't fucking matter. Spartans. There you go. So that's a historical background that sets the stage. And then let's get into the training. What is their training, or like boot camp, or their training called? Anybody know? Their training? Agogi. It's the Agogi, right? The Agogi. They go there when, how old are they? 7 years old. 7 years old until they're 20 years old. They spend 13 years training to be warriors. Pancration, survival skills, fighting, grappling, leadership, building, like just fighting, warrior spirit, 7 to 20. Is that where their training starts at 7 years old?
No.
Absolutely not. When?
They're born.
The moment they're born, the elders convene, look at the baby and be like, my man, sorry, you're gonna have to be down outside the city gates and die. Here you go. Spartan. Got it? No worries. And if not, then the mother spends, tempers the baby's body in wine, teach it not to be afraid of the dark, bland meals, all the way until they're 7 years old. All the way until they're 7 years old until they go to the Agoge. The day they're born, like a selection criteria. And then when they're in there, they have like a culminating event, like a crucible, if you will, and that proves to them that they're what? Spartans. They earn it. And then when they're 20 to 21, they spend 1 year like a payback tour, a little SDA tour down at the drill field, and they become instructors at the Agoge. Here we go. Like that's their training pipeline. 21 years old, they become citizens of of Sparta. And they've officially earned the title of Spartan. Obviously, as instructors, they're still citizens, but I mean, they've fulfilled their higher obligation and now they go to war. Does that make sense? Like that's what the whole purpose is. All right, so this is a training. In essence, that's what training. Let's talk about their value system. This is the most important thing. There's 3 things I want you to take away from this. This is where it's at, man. Like, so in order to their values, they valued oral, like the ability to orate, like to speak, public speaking. They practiced it, they perfected it. One of their abilities or how they chose leadership positions within their group was how? How? What do you think? Strength? All right, strength test. What else?
Win fights.
Ability to fight, battles. What else? Peers. Voted on. You have to influence. What is that important for? Why is that a huge value and why is it so important?
Leading. You have to
leading
the influence.
Leading who? Not just your teams, not just your who?
All Spartans.
Sparta. Remember the Constitution is written down. How you influence. You have a great idea. Does it matter if it's inside your head and it lives there? What does it matter? What does it matter? When people take up stock and help you achieve it. Does that make sense? That's why it's so important. Number 1 value. Number 2, we'll talk about literacy. There's a couple. Literacy. Do you think their literacy is high or low?
It's low.
All right. So of all the, and this is Greece, right? This is Greece, city-states. These are big deals. Athens and shit. Like they got some smart people there. Who has the best? Who has the best and who has the worst? Like if you let's say out of 10, where do you think they lie at? 1 out of 10. 10 being the greatest, and 1 being the worst. 5 average. What else?
That's it. On the lower side, like 9.
Like all the way down the bottom.
Yeah.
Wasn't their focus.
Wasn't their focus. They had the highest literacy rate in Greece. There you go. That's because they had their women were actually literate and educated as well. Because they had a responsibility to teach the children to read by the time they ever got to the Agoge. Read and write. They were, all of them were literate because they believed that everybody should contribute. Not half, everybody. Everybody was valued. They valued each other. Does that make sense? All right, so that's their foundation. Okay, cool. Now let's talk about. I'll go in their culture, like a little bit of their cultural manners and like how they respected each other. So there's this like anecdote, right? And they got the Olympics. You know, the Olympics always kicking on. They're always going down there and crushing it. You know what I mean? So there's a big stadium, and you got all Athens is sitting right here, and they're all like in their Athens colors, not their Athens colors. You got this, then they have Sparta right here, all these different city-states. You got, at the end is Sparta, right? And you come in the entrance and you have to walk around, you got to find a seat. This old man comes in, I don't know, he's undistinguished by which city-state he belongs to. He's just an old-ass man, and he's like, he's got his cane, and he's like walking. He comes by Athens, he's looking for a seat, and they like kind of brush him off, and they're like, all right, go away, weird, kind of old. Here we go. Go down the road. He keeps on going. He gets to Sparta, and he's like looking at him, looks at him. Sits down in the back there, some old, I like to watch. Who stands up? Give him their seat. It's important. Value your elders. There you go. So here's something very specific and interesting about their value sets. This is so important about how you value the things and how you develop a unity that is beyond transactional. It's transformational. Is when you value each other in a way that's beyond yourselves and what your own movement and everything. So the children, up until they got to the Agoge, anybody in the community could correct their behavior, right? Like, hey, knock it off. And that's we all collectively. If I saw your kid messing around, like, knock it off. You know better than that. Okay, good deal. When they got to the Agoge, somebody other than their father was their mentor for the rest of their life. That was a mentor relationship that they had forever. And every student called every citizen father. Every man that was a Spartan citizen, they would call him father, everybody as a sign of respect. The entire time develops this culture of respect for the next generation. And here's where it's most influential. So you have this deep-seated, rooted respect for your iterative contributions, right? You are going to replace me, and you are going to contribute just as much as me. So why wouldn't you value me? Don't you want to be valued in that position, right? And more importantly, this is where I need you guys to pay attention. If you take nothing away from this one singular thing that I think is the reason why we still talk about Spartans today, is because they left their legacy in the stories that they would pass to their juniors, right? They would give these stories, these epic battles of their fathers who went before them, died or lived courageously. What does that do for a young person to look up to? Like, what does it do for them?
Builds morality, gives them something to fight for.
Morality, something to never let down, right? When you're thinking about yourself in those situations that are tough, and you're sitting there and your arms are shaking, and you're like, I don't want to do this again. Who are you letting down? In that moment, by yourself, when you're just thinking about yourself, who are you letting down? Look at just yourself. Think about Psalm 4:7. Who did he let down? He just let himself down. In his mind, he lived rent-free only in his mind. He only let himself down, right? This culture isn't a person, it's a group of people that all believe this more than themselves, that I will never let my father down, my fathers. You do that, what does that do for you in battle? What does that do for you in combat? You gonna pull the trigger? You gonna grab town? He's heavy. Gonna go. Who doesn't look like it? He's heavy. You gonna drag him out of off the X? Absolutely. Because why? It's John Bassett, right? Because who else went before you? What fathers do you have? Think about that. How much time do you spend talking about your fathers? How much time do you think about and developing your public speaking and the ability to influence each other? And how much time do you spend and have the people that influenced you spent talking to you about your fathers? Enough? That's the takeaway. That's a Spartan society. Let's go back to the question. The answer to the question, is the Marine Corps martial culture? Now that is the Spartans, no democracy, no gates of fire, just their value system. In essence, their value system, what made them so successful, is the Marine Corps martial culture. Yeah, absolutely. Is it as good as we want it to be? Maybe not. Does it live up to our standards? Not yet. Not yet. Never say no. Only say not yet. Because you cannot live in an organization of 186,000. That legacy is there. You live on the shoulders of giants. Don't ever let yourself believe that the Marine Corps is not an amazing place to be. The place that you're at isn't where it needs to be yet. Does that make sense? Look, you look at that wall right there. What's that wall represent? What symbol is that? Those are fathers. Those are dedicated, decorated humans, superhumans, I would say. And they're no different than you. They're made of the same cut and cloth as you. They are you. Those are your fathers. The legacy is there. The 186,000 people that is in this institution are all standing on the shoulders of giants, of humans, of superhumans, of fathers. But now what do we have to do? My only hope ever is that in 1,000 years, they're still talking about the Marine Corps in the same way that we talk about the Spartan. That's it. That's all I care about. And the other one is that you, now here's my last thing on this is, anybody alive at September 11, 2001? Were you baby? Were you alive? Do you remember? Baby? First grade? 1 month old? Okay, that's fair. I will tell you, I was in boot camp. I was in San Diego, MCRD San Diego. I was down there. You guys did? Who was a San Diego guy? All right, so you guys remember the? I don't know if it's still there. The little places they take you to go do your uniforms. Did they like drone strikers drop you off and there's civilians in there?
Okay.
And they do the tailoring and stuff, right? So there's this big old Simone dude back there, right? And we're getting our my uniform done. I weigh like 145 pounds. I'm 17 years old. Good to go. September 11th, 2000. I'm in boot camp. I'm getting my tailors done, and this Simone dude, he comes out and he brings this little TV. There's like a portable TV and had like the antennas that come in. He's like, hey, check it out, guys. Like, you should check this out. The Twin Towers, right? They're hitting, right? That's interesting. Cool. And then, you know, I don't know what that means at all. Drill instructors all come out. They like yell at us. They're like, hey, you're all gonna die, right? You're gonna go to combat. Cool, no worries. I don't know exactly what that is. I'm 17. I'm a kid, right? But think about this. Let's say you're a corporal and you're at a unit and it is September 10th. This is what I think about. What was I doing on September 10th? Yeah, whatever. Think about the kid that was at the gate guard checking IDs on September 10th. What was he doing? Scanning IDs. What was he doing on September 11th? Yeah, everybody on that base at Force Protection Alpha, good to go. People with Kevlars doing circles around the thing. There was a heightened alert, and guess where we were within 12 months? Right, we're in the war. Think about the nature of the world. What is September 11th to you? What's the day? You know what the date is? Does it matter? Is this historical? Is it? Yeah. What about tonight? 11:49 p.m., right? 23:49. Could it be historical? And then what's tomorrow? Tomorrow could be your September 11th. Don't forget that. And what does September 12th look like for your group of people? Are they ready to go do the things that they're supposed to do? Are they ready to live on the backs and shoulders of these humans, these superhumans, these fathers, and do the things that they're supposed to do? And if it's no, what does it need to be? Not yet. And whose responsibility is it? Man, that's it. A lot of times we allow ourselves to be either beat down or held back by the institutional groupthink, as if this isn't a war-fighting organization. Absolutely not. And we're not going to go to war. I heard a gunny. I was talking to a gunny yesterday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, hey, gunny, we sit down and talk. He's like, hey, sir, give me some feedback, man. I need some guidance. I need some help with my company. I need your insights. He's like, honestly, sir, you know, you come from the division, and you're bringing that division mindset over here. This isn't it. This is the CLP. This is the MLG. Different MSCs, and I believe that's true for a reason. It's like, I don't know what to say about that. You know, that took me off guard. We had a lot more conversation. That wasn't the only thing I took away from that conversation, but I thought about that conversation later. I was like, oh my God. This poor diluted man, this staff NCO who is the leader of Marines, who is the backbone, the backstop for everything that we do, actually believes that. So I give that back to you. Whose responsibility is to change the no to not yet? Everybody's. Every single person. Lance Corporal, Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, Gunny, Captain, Lieutenant, Major, we all have that organizational requirement to live up to our father's forbearing. It's on the wall. It lives everywhere around you. It's on your fucking shirt. It's here. Think about the people who never came back, who are memorialized in this institution, and think about what tomorrow is. He's like, well, we'll probably never go to war. That's what he said. It came out of his mouth. Yesterday morning, 08, Gunnery Sergeant in the Marine Corps. Sat down, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm sitting across the way in his chair. We talked about that. He said, we'll probably never go to war. We got 3 years left of retirement. 3 years, 36 months. Absolutely not, dog. You kidding me? You have to believe that you're going to go to war because you have a moral obligation to train the Marines around you up to the standard of war. There's no division mindset. There's a warfighter mindset. There's a warrior culture mindset. That's it. Are you going to live up to it? And are you going to live up to your father's stories? Do more time, spend more time with your Marines talking, developing public speaking, your public speaking so you can talk to them and influence them. Tell them the things that will empower them to do what they wanted to do in the first place. We all come from fucked up places all over the country. I did. Low-income projects from fucking Northern California. Worst murder, homicide rate in California. I come from that. That's my hometown. That's where I came from. I lived on welfare until I was 11 years old. I'm a captain. Oh, big deal. I'm still Marine. Here we go. We all come from somewhere. Fucked up in the world, and why did we come here? I want to be Marines. So let them be Marines. Remind them of it. Remind them of the stories of their fathers and instill the values that are most important. Stand up for your elders because you are the elders of one day. You can be a sergeant. Even sergeant. Sergeant Forsyth. I never been there until that Marine. I asked Sergeant. Didn't tell him when he got out that he was. But never why he was a sergeant. Respect him. Does that make sense? That's all I got, guys. Martial culture studies, Spartans. They are impressive, not because of them individually, but them collectively. And you have that power and ability. Your circle, your influence, sphere of influence is as big as your voice and as much time as you can put into it. You can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to be there. Be there. Give them stories. Tell them of their fathers. They would love it. And then take them out to the field and show them what a machine gun is and tell them about John Bassel and why he's such a badass. Does that make sense? Because I guarantee you they would take on to that for the rest of your life. I bet you can tell me a few stories about guys who told you about your fathers and you prefer to immortalize them, right? Pass it on. Develop the skills. That's all I got, guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you for letting me spend some time with you, all right? Good luck. Good luck. Do not quit on this journey. Don't quit. It's only like, what, 2 or 3 more weeks? 1 more week, right? 1 more week in a day. Can't stop time. Good to go? All right, guys. That's it.